What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Tribe of Millionaires podcast. I'm your host, Jamie Gruber. And on today's episode, first off, I'm in my new office. You can see a really cool backdrop, very tropical. If you're watching on YouTube, you can see it. It looks nice. A little bit of cloud cover and blue, but the blue doesn't really poke through as much on this webcam. So I'll have to figure out a way to make it look a little less dreary, because it's not. It's actually a very nice day back there, but whatever. It is what it is. But I want to talk today about real estate investing. It's something that I've dabbled in. I've done. I still have interest in real estate right now. I've raised capital to buy real estate. I've bought and sold 41 units myself, and I've syndicated a whole bunch more by partnering in the community that I belong to, Gobundance, the sponsor of this podcast. So I recently had this sort of epiphany, this moment of saying, you know what? In my journey, my sort of, I don't know what it would be, like 8-year total journey of like, I'm thinking about real estate 2017. I buy a couple of duplexes and burr them, and then start to expand that and go to multifamily and everything. And Gobundance comes into the equation around 2018, 19. And, I start to grow from there. So 2019, I guess it would be early 2019. So I start to grow my real estate portfolio. I expand my own portfolio to a certain size, then eventually end up selling it all and go in on syndications. But I also invested in a bunch of other stuff, in private equity, in crypto, and Bitcoin. I mean, all these different things. I just kind of sprayed it. And it was honestly probably a post W-2 backlash. Like, I get all my 401k money and I can invest it the way I want to, not just whatever. Then I'm going to do it how I want to do it. So far, lost a little, but I've done all right. Thank God. But 21 years in corporate, I needed my little moment of, I'm going to do it my way. And so I did. But in that, I don't know, ascension, post W-2, real estate was always kind of there. It was kind of present. And then a couple of years ago, I got a little bit less enamored with the idea of being a real estate investor, especially as I started to grow this podcast, started to grow my reach and my influence across social media platforms. And eventually, after I moved down to the Dominican Republic, the reach I have here as a expat living in DR. And honestly, I do talk a lot about what it is to invest here, what's a great place to buy, where is best to live, what are the best restaurants, all of that stuff. But in that whole sort of arc, I went from really simple, which was W-2, 401k, and then I got really complex because there were faster ways to build wealth, right? There was the Bigger Pockets podcast teaching me what I should be doing and how there's so much more opportunity to grow wealth fast in real estate. And then eventually business kind of took over for me. And I thought, wow, real estate is kind of a slow game unless you're in the business of real estate, like syndicating, where you take asset management fees and other fees for buying assets and raise money for investors. But if you're just buying your own, it takes a while to reach that quote unquote financial freedom number. And now where I am as a personal brand and creating content and really enjoying getting in front of a camera every day and putting things together and putting them out into the world, I had this sort of epiphany. I said that word already, that I'm ready for something different. I'm ready for something different. So I went into the Gobundance group and I made a post, and I'm going to read you guys all this post and then share kind of my takeaways from it. But it's not that lengthy, but it's lengthy enough, and I'm going to dive into it. So recently, a little context, we've had 3, 4, 5, 6 different deals. Operators where deals have gone bad. There's probably a few that, the guy wasn't quite on the up and up that was running the deal, but there are also ones that just caught in a cycle, deal went bad, took their shot and missed. And a lot of guys in Gobundance had invested in some of these deals. And, as investors do, they go like, yeah, hey, win some, lose some kind of thing. And I learned some lessons. But here's the lessons I've learned after seeing some of these posts about, man, this one went sideways, this one I lost money on, and so on. Seeing some of these bad deal posts, I had a thought. When I joined Gobundance, I had 5 units, meaning 5 apartment units, 2 duplexes and a single family. I then bought more. Then I sold them. Then I invested all of that passively in syndications. I've lost on a few. Others are fine because they have long-term conservative debt terms. I also have spent a lot of time with people that weren't doing things the right way. And I name 3 prior Gobundance members that were exited because of their dealings, we'll say. We've had our infiltrators over the years, I wrote. The era I joined Gobundance in was up and to the right. So the value of the tribe was access to deals and investments that could generate a return. It was all about, quote unquote, let's grow together, right? Everything was going great, so let's grow together. The era we're in now is rocky. The market's rocky. It's unstable. And even good operators had unlucky timing and are working through it. Some have lost. So now I feel like I'm in a regroup mode with the tribe as far as, and when I said that, I meant like, okay, it's not like grow per se, like it still is, but there's another element where I'm getting value. And I said, learning and preparing for the next wave. It's now, instead of let's grow together, about, quote, let's learn together. Gobundance has learned too. New members get background checks, credit checks, etc. We now have a tribal council, which has removed members. And I know because I've been in the room as a member when we did it of tribal council. But here's how my mindset has shifted with the market and where I see my investment thesis now. And I laid out three S's. I like systems. I like structure. So three S's. The first investment thesis is simplicity. And this is real. I'm really tempted once certain projects go full cycle and I cash out. I'm really tempted to cash all that out in a few years and dump it all in an S&P index fund returning 5 to 10% annually. If you look historically, 7 to 10% is sort of the range. It can go lower, it can go higher, but like the average annually is 7 to 10% that you get a return on. So if you've got $3-4 million that you have liquid and you just drop it into an S&P index fund at 7%, that'll pay you $280,000 a year. Most of us, I think, can live on that and then go do whatever you want to do. Simplicity. So that was one. The second S is, on my investment thesis, self. The more I put into me and my development, my network and my skills, the more satisfied I feel. And it seems the more abundance I attract. I'd rather put my money in what I control instead of others. I invest in Gobundance every year. I go to events, I pay for the travel, I do all of that. And sometimes I'll be honest, when I go to these events, it's tight. Money's tight in that particular month or that particular quarter, distribution coming, but you never know. I mean, I don't want to rely on it and pay for it in advance before I get the distribution, whatever. But the point is, no matter what, I can go into it thinking about the price, but I always leave thinking about the value. Whenever I go to an event, whenever I pay for the flight, whenever I pay for the hotel or whatever it might be, I always leave like, wow, I got a lot of value from that. The connections I've made, all of that, incredible. I also invest in myself in terms of my brand and taking the brand that I've created and monetizing that in a way that, of course, is of value to those that would be paying me for that. This is manifested in getting condos down here, real estate down here, in getting waived fees on certain brand deals. There's a lot of things that I've been able to do thanks to investing in myself and my own brand. So from a thesis standpoint, simple money, making money, the S&P, I'm not going to beat it in any way, shape, or form that I want to. And I'm not a guy that really loves the game, I've learned, of like, oh, but I love trading up on the next asset. I love like finding the asset and underwriting it. Like, I don't love any of that. I love making the money and then being able to create content and do what I do. So self is the second one. And then third, I wrote down is sentimental. I said, I'm doing daddy son dates. I'm traveling the country I call home here in the Caribbean, the Dominican Republic. We're headed to Peru for Easter. The adventure and the memories are the priority. Those are my three S's, my investment thesis. I'm going to invest in simplicity, in myself, and in sentimental things, travel, time with kids, so on and so forth. When I joined, it was financial freedom, and now it's lifestyle freedom. Big pivot. I'm still making mistakes. I have plenty of warts, but I'm proud to be going through it with this group of guys. So here's a few thoughts. That actually got a lot of traction. A lot of guys replied like, thank you for saying it. I feel the exact same way. Here's some takeaways that I would give you from that.
The key to life, it isn't money. It's happiness. And when you measure how happy you are, you actually become even more happy. Our friends at Gobundance, the tribe of millionaires, use a very specific tool to measure their happiness. It's called the Life Happiness Index. And you can have it too. Go over to Gobundance.com/LHI and take your Life Happiness Index assessment. You'll rate yourself in multiple categories on exactly how happy you are and get a custom output for you specifically that you can use in developing whatever goals you have for your life. Gobundance is the tribe of healthy, wealthy, generous people who choose to live epic lives. And the tool Gobundance members use at the base of all of that is the Life Happiness Index. Get out there and grab life big.
One, I'm going to go specific to Gobundance. So this is a shameless promotion of Gobundance because it has changed my life, dramatically changed my life being around these guys. A lot of people joined in the uptick, 2020, 2021, 2022, when things were just like flying and assets are going for more and more every year and interest rates are at almost zero, right? It was an incredible time. And they joined thinking like, okay, I'm able to be here because I'm epic and I'm making money and I'm doing well and I'm going to be around other guys doing well. Then when the market turned and some guys started to lose, whether they invested and lost or they were the ones as the general partner that lost, the operator. I can't think of the word right now. There was this sentiment like, oh, I've got to leave Gobundance now because I'm not killing it like I was before. And it's like, no, actually, I would argue that I've gotten more value by being a member in the last year and a half, because all the stuff that was up and to the right that looked really good to all of you that watch, that sounded like, wow, this guy's crushing it. A lot of that stuff got harder. It got harder. Now I'm glad, grateful, and even feel a little guilty that we've been able to thrive through it. But certainly I've hit my bumps and I've had my hard times through the last year and a half. And the only place I can truly lay that, truly, is here in Gobundance with my tribe, with my pod, with other guys that I talk to. It's the only place I can put that. Only place I could say, oh, this is heavy right now, guys. I'm struggling with this. While there's not a monetary return on that, there is a definite, I don't know, individual self-return on the fact that I can have these conversations with these guys. Because look, it's not something I need to burden my wife with, my heavy thoughts and my worries and what keeps me up at night. My regular friends, they can't relate. For them, it's like, dude, like I told you were taking a big risk quitting your job. But when I go to Gobundance, guys, man, it's incredible. It's incredible, the understanding, the empathy, and the encouragement. And honestly, I truly believe without it, I wouldn't have the ability to take this ball that's like sitting on my shoulder and put it down on occasion so that I could say, okay, I feel light. While I'm feeling light, I'm in pre-workout mode, right? I took my shot. Let me go burn this. And when I burn it, I thrive. But there's times the boulder creeps back up on my shoulder and I can lay it back down with these guys. That's the value of what Gobundance is in this current era. But you know what's really cool? By being a guy that was there for the good, by being a guy that's sticking around through the downturns, through the struggles. And again, I say this, I mean, maybe because some people are going to read into it and I don't need you to. Like we're doing well. We're doing well. I said to my wife this morning, like I lay here thinking like, why us? Like why I'm waiting for a shoe to drop. Something bad has to happen, right? Because everything's just good. Like, you know, a couple real estate deals went sideways. We lost a little money on paper, but whatever. It's not affecting my day to day. I'm still making a good income. We're still funding our lives. My brand is exploding in the Dominican Republic, exploding. And I'm getting more and more clear on the value proposition I give to others down here and in the states that are interested in investing down here. Our kids are good. Our kids are doing well. My wife and I have a great relationship. We both converted to carnivore and we've gotten in probably the best shape of the last 5 years that we've been in. It's too good, right? That's my fear. But anyway, I feel the burden of what can be, or the negatives, or even just the perceived potential negatives. And to be able to lay that with these guys and be authentic and real with them when things turn. And these guys who know how to make money in an up market, I mean, like really know how to, not just like ride the wave, but like that's the generational wealth run, like post '08, maybe post 2020, and coming up probably in the next, I don't know, 6 to 12 months. If I'm known as a contributory member of a group of guys that thinks this way, and this is whether I'm in Champion, which is 10 million plus, Elite 2 to 10 million, or Emerge 0 to 2 million, poof, this is the time. This is the time that I get the most value being a member, because I know what I'm building. I'm building deeper roots in this investment I've made in myself and in my personal development. So those are the thoughts I have around where I'm going and why I'm kind of done with real estate. I really like the idea of simplicity. Get me a stack of cash from all of my exits. And boy, I've done the calculation. We might be able to do that if everything goes right, and take that money, drop it in an S&P account, and just, that's it. I get hit by a bus, I get thrown off a wall, whatever. I'm going to be able to, my family will be able to take care of themselves, plus the life insurance. So dead is probably better than injured in that regard, but they'll be able to take care of themselves. They'll have income coming in from this investment. And then I'm doing whatever I got to do. I'm leaning into what I love, that self and that sentimental part, travel, doing what I want to do. Like that's what I'm craving in this next era. And that's what I'm preparing for and building my foundation for as I prepare to launch into the next version of what I'm trying to become. I wonder if this resonates. I wonder if any of you have thought the same thing. Like, you know what? I'm ready to just sort of make it easy, set it down. I don't know. Let me know what you think. Drop it down in the comments on the YouTube video if you're watching on YouTube. Be sure to subscribe. Always love a like and a comment as well. And I'll see you all in the next episode.